Alright, imagine this. You go to bed after a long day, nothing out of the ordinary. The stars are out, the crickets are chirping, the moon is hanging peacefully in the night sky, doing its usual moon things. But then bam, you wake up, look outside, and the moon is just gone. Not a single trace. No explanation. Just an empty sky where our old, crater-faced friend used to be. Now, your first thought might be, that's weird, followed by, wait, is that bad? And let me tell you, oh, it's bad. Very bad. The kind of bad that makes you rethink everything you ever took for granted, like tides, seasons, and, oh yeah, basic survival. So what happens next? Do we all get flung into space? Does gravity collapse? Does werewolf lore become completely irrelevant? Buckle up, because we're about to break down exactly what would happen if the moon suddenly disappeared overnight. First of all, let's take a second to appreciate how much the moon actually does for us. We tend to think of it as just that glowing rock in the sky that looks pretty and occasionally messes up our sleep cycles. But in reality, the moon is like the Earth's best friend, always keeping things in check, making sure we don't go totally off the rails. It's been with us for over 4.5 billion years, and in that time, it's quietly been controlling a lot more than you'd think. The most obvious? Tides. You know, those rolling waves that make beach vacations so much fun? Yeah, that's mostly the moon's doing. The gravitational pull of the moon tugs at Earth's oceans, creating high and low tides. Without it, the tides would shrink dramatically. Sure, the sun also plays a small role in tides, but without the moon's pull, the entire system would weaken. The result? Coastal ecosystems would start collapsing almost immediately. Marine life that depends on tidal movements, like crabs, turtles, and certain fish, would be in serious trouble. Fishing industries, devastated. Beachfront properties, well, they'd probably see a lot less of the ocean than they're used to. But that's just the start. The moon doesn't just mess with the water, it messes with us. Now, let's talk about something you might not expect: Earth's rotation. Right now, Earth spins at a steady pace, completing one full rotation every 24 hours. That's why we have nice, predictable days and nights. But guess what? The moon is actually responsible for keeping that rotation stable. Its gravitational pull acts as a sort of cosmic stabilizer, preventing Earth from wobbling wildly on its axis like an unbalanced washing machine. If the moon suddenly peaced out, that balance would be thrown off. Over time, Earth's axial tilt could start shifting unpredictably. One decade, you're enjoying mild summers and crisp autumns. The next, half the planet is plunged into a never-ending winter, while the other half is basically the Sahara Desert. That's because without the moon's stabilizing influence, Earth's tilt would start swinging chaotically, leading to extreme and unpredictable climate shifts. And speaking of climate, remember how we talked about tides disappearing? Well, without strong tides to circulate ocean water, heat distribution across the planet would get seriously messed up. Ocean currents move warm and cold water around, regulating temperatures worldwide. No tides, no proper circulation, and no proper circulation. Well, get ready for more extreme weather events. Droughts in some places, superstorms in others, and possibly even ice ages in unexpected locations. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Hold on, if the moon disappeared, does that mean gravity would stop working? Great question. And the answer is no, you won't suddenly start floating into space like an astronaut who forgot to clip their tether. The moon's gravity does affect Earth, but Earth's own gravity is way stronger. So, don't worry, your feet will stay firmly planted on the ground. That being said, gravity and physics are still going to make things weird in other ways. For example, without the moon's gravitational pull, Earth itself might start spinning faster. Right now, the moon actually slows down Earth's rotation just a little bit over time. Without it, days could get shorter, Maybe by just a few minutes at first, but over millions of years it could change dramatically. Imagine an Earth where a full day is only 15 hours long. Sounds fun, until you realize your sleep schedule is never going to recover. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest casualties of a moonless Earth: animals. A huge number of creatures, especially nocturnal ones, rely on moonlight to navigate, hunt, and survive. Sea turtles use the moon to find their way back to the ocean after hatching. Birds use it to migrate. Even certain fish spawn based on the lunar cycle. Without the moon, a lot of these species would get completely thrown off. No moonlight, hatchlings might not find their way to the ocean in time. Birds might get lost and never reach their destinations. Predator-prey relationships that have existed for millions of years would suddenly collapse. Entire ecosystems would have to adapt fast. Alright, so at this point, Earth is dealing with collapsing ecosystems, chaotic weather, and shorter days. But what about us? Could humans actually survive without the moon? The answer is maybe, but it wouldn't be easy. First off, food production would take a massive hit. Ocean life would decline, which means less seafood. Crops might suffer due to changing weather patterns and unpredictable seasons. And let's not forget, agriculture is very sensitive to changes in daylight hours. If Earth's rotation speeds up or its tilt goes haywire, farming as we know it could become a nightmare. And then there's the psychological impact. We don't always think about it, but the moon has a deep connection to human culture. It influences our myths, calendars, even our moods. Studies suggest that lunar cycles might play a role in sleep patterns and mental health. Without it, would we feel a little off? Would people born in a moonless world feel something missing, even if they didn't know what it was? So what's the lesson here? Simple: appreciate the moon. Seriously, next time you're outside on a clear night, take a second to look up and thank that big, glowing rock for everything it does. It keeps our tides in check, stabilizes our seasons, and, let's be honest, makes nighttime way more magical. If you like this deep dive into an alternate reality where the moon disappears, let me know in the comments. What other wild what-if scenarios should we explore next? And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Because trust me, they need to know why the moon is way more important than they ever realized. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and, most importantly, stay grateful for the moon.